Hello and good evening, Facebook family and friends. Once again, we are here a little bit earlier this Thursday. I know normally we're 7 o'clock every Thursday, but we have a special guest here, and I'm telling you, we are just honored to have her on tonight. She was able to fit us in because she is so high in demand, and that's the truth. But I'd like you all to welcome Ms. Coach, I should say. And she is a coach. She lives up to that title. None other than Miss Tomeka James. Would you say hello to Karren's Carrots audience?
Hello, Karren's audience.
And some of Tomeka James too. But I just wanted to say I thank you all for being here. Let me get my banners all together. Tomeka James is a transformational entrepreneurship coach, and I think I have that. I should have put entrepreneurship coach, but nonetheless, she is excellent at what she does. She doesn't mind telling you like it is, and she has this other catchphrase that I love. It's about showing powerful people their power. Tell us that phrase. What's that phrase?
Yes, I help powerful people realize how powerful they really are.
There you go. And I love it. So thanks again for joining us this evening. I am not going to even attempt to go into her bio. I'm going to let her do that herself. I say thank you. I say welcome, Coach Tomeka. And would you please just give us a little background about who you are, what you do, and why you do it?
All right. Who I am. I am one that is involved with entrepreneurship. I've been in business since I was 13 years old, doing one thing or another, actually doing many things. But my background comes from the beauty industry. So I've been licensed for over 25 years. I ended up owning more than 3 salons over the course of time. Am I echoing?
Just a tad, yeah. But maybe if I cut off my mic, let's see if that helps you at all.
All right, let's see. Does that help? Does it change anything? All right, okay, we'll do that until you're ready to speak. Okay, so let's jump back in. So I've been an entrepreneur for many years. I entered an entrepreneurship program when I was 13 years old, which basically changed the trajectory of my entire life. So I owned several salons. I have been coaching for years. I'm a trade show CEO. I selected a trade show that was not in existence. I ended up like looking around me, and this is what I do. So this is going to feed into who I am. I take a look at what's missing. I figure out what people need, and I give it to them. So I created this trade show called Extensions Expo, which has been in existence for 12 years now. Last year we had to go virtual, but it's called Extensions Expo because it's a place where people can learn the latest weaving techniques, hair replacement methods, and everything involved with weaving and extensions under one roof. So people come from everywhere to attend this show. It's just a once a year show that I actually do. And you also should know that I have my own line of tools. So I have weaving tools. I created weaving techniques that are literally, techniques that people have been trained on. They are patented. I've traveled the world training people on these weaving techniques. And I'm also an author. I have 4 books. I have several ebooks as well, and several audio pieces. So those are some things about me. I probably could be going on and on, but I am currently Coach Tomeka James, who has put down the shears. So I've closed my salon, and I've decided to go full force into coaching, which I've been doing for years. So years ago, it was non-paid. Then I went into paid position, and now I am full-fledged in it because I just love helping entrepreneurs. So in a nutshell, that's who I am. And I'll give the mic back to you.
I have to remember that my mic was off, but you see why I wouldn't even attempt to delve into that bio, because it has such depth and only she can present it, which encompasses most of it, I would say. But one other thing I like to say is the topic you picked tonight. Yes, she picked this topic, and I often ask my guests to select a topic that they would like to speak on, because we find that somewhere along the line it relates, and God knows change is universal. Where does that not relate? So tell me, what prompted you to pick that topic for tonight? Anything in particular? Oh, put your mic on.
I'd have to say that it is what's going on in the world today.
Very, very much so. Someone asked me about change. I say it could be change on anything, change on your behavior, change on your thoughts. As we all agree, pivot was the universal word of 2020. But change is going on all the time, and if we don't change, we don't grow.
You said it.
So I want to hear, I have a lot of change going on in my life, and you are aware of some of that because you have recently become my coach, and I just think that's awesome. But yeah, change, for instance, retirement to entrepreneurship, change from one regimen to a self-designed regimen, overcoming different challenges now that 9-to-5 life is not like entrepreneur life. So I'll let you take it from there and speak on change, because I read something that said, if we don't change, will it go away?
Oh my goodness. How cute. All right. Well, I guess if you can mute out, so don't be echoing for a second. All right, so change definitely is inevitable. That's like one of the biggest things that we can say. And for me, I can tell you about a change that I just went through most recently, which is that I actually moved over 1,000 miles away. During the pandemic, I was sitting and I had a lot of change in regards to career, life, everything. And I was sitting there, and one of the things that I have to say is that we have to make sure that we're in a position where positive things are being inputted into our brains. So we have to see positive things, we have to hear positive things, and we have to do positive things. So during COVID, I was just sitting and just allowing everything that the universe had to give me to be received. That's where I was. I was in a receiving mode. And I did a lot of meditation, a lot of focusing on what was going to be next. I had to take a look at where I was and to really think about, do I want to continue on the same path? What did the old path bring me, and what could a new path bring me? So I was sitting and I kept watching the HGTV network, right? I'm watching this channel, and I just continuously watched them taking people around to buy homes in other countries. They were either buying homes or they were renting homes. And as I'm looking at this and I'm listening to the numbers, I'm like, these people are saying numbers that I definitely can afford. So maybe that's something I might want to do. So as I consistently watch this show, I keep looking at this positivity, these beautiful places. It began to create change in my brain, in my entire body. And I decided that I want to live somewhere that's like vacation-like. So either I'm going to move out of the country, which was my first thought, or I'm going to do something very much like it. So I started to look around, and I just made a choice that I wanted to live like I was on vacation. So the change actually happened at this one moment in time when, during my meditations and everything, I sat and I believe in the fact that you can manifest what you actually are going to be doing. So I wrote on a piece of paper that I will live like I'm on vacation. Wrote it, put it away, tucked it away, didn't think about it anymore. Well, fast forward about a year later, all of that came to pass. I end up deciding that I'm going to move. I get on a plane and I fly to Florida, which is where I live now. And I decide to just drive around to find a place. So I call 2 people that I know. Hey, give me some information about, this area. Well, I get here, I find a place, I go back home, I'm all set to move. And it was just that simple. I know you guys might have wanted to hear something else, but guess what? It was just that simple. So after that, I did the rest of the research to determine what else I needed to do. How much does it cost to actually move my things? What else do I need to prepare? What am I going to be doing? What is this future going to look like? So first, I manifested the change through me sitting and meditating, really spending some time focusing, which is what I encourage everyone to do. You have the answers. You have all of the answers, even if you don't know that you do. They're all in there somewhere. You just have to wait for it, and you have to believe, and then you have to take action. So that's one change that I can share. Another change would be that I closed my salon. So one of the other things I can share is that sometimes change, it happens like all of a sudden. But then there are these changes that were happening along the way. You kind of knew it, but you were fighting it. So for the last 5 or 6 years, me being in the salon, when I tell you guys, I was great at what I did. I trained people. I supported the clients. I did so much. I traveled the world, educating on these techniques that I created, all of the above. But there was a moment in time when I knew that I was shifting, and I knew that me coaching and assisting people was the stronger side of me at that point in time. And all you have to do is really sit, and you have to really just take a look at yourself. Take a look at, like I said, where you are and where you could possibly be. And everything begins to come together. So I started feeling that shift, the change. And as time went on, I was implementing things that would move me in position for that to happen. So some people thought my change was abrupt, but it actually wasn't. It was happening over time. It was gradual. So,
I can relate to that manifestation of a move, because I lived in the city when I worked, and I didn't have a car, because downtown you didn't need a car, but I knew when I moved, as long as I moved near a train station, I was cool. But I also actually manifested the layout of my next place. Okay, so I took it there. I knew where I wanted bedroom. I knew where I wanted living room. I knew all those things. And while there were various differences, just little, I got exactly what I asked for, basically. A little thing was, okay, I said I had to have 2 bathrooms, but I envisioned the bathroom en suite in my bedroom, because that's where it had always been. But it wasn't like that. It was right outside the bedroom, but there was still another bath in the hallway. So I said, well, you asked for 2 and you got 2. But you are absolutely correct. You can manifest exactly what you want. Here's the crazy thing. I'm calling it crazy because people will relate to the craziness of it. You manifest it exactly what you want, but you don't know exactly when it's coming or exactly where in some aspects, but you'll find, oh, this is just what I asked for. So I can definitely relate to that. And once it happens, it fits. There's no unease. It's as if you wear a size 8 shoe and you bought a size 8 shoe, you put your foot in and it fits perfectly.
And as I say, fits like a glove.
Yeah. So, while it's hard for people to move, I relocated to Chicago for a job. And I had a going away party, right? And people were asking me, how could I do it? And I didn't know what the problem was. They said, well, Karren, how could you move all the way to Chicago? Well, the most important thing to me at that time was that I had a job. If you have a job, at that time, that's what fed me and kept a roof over my head. It was fine. some people couldn't understand it. It was done with ease for me, and it was also an opportunity for me to meet a family in Chicago that I didn't know I had, that are family to me, so
Yeah,
embrace change.
that's beautiful. And when you say, like, you go and you make sure that you have a job, I want to share that I had honestly been preparing myself for any of the parts of my transition to happen for many years to come. So I can tell you that because one of the things I didn't mention is that I actually have I have online courses, and I also, on a lower level, have over 90 instructional videos that I've been creating over the years. So these videos are for hair techniques, hair extension techniques, cutting, styling. They're also for business. So whenever I did a webinar, whether it was for how to build a website or how to do something with technology, anything in regards to marketing, anything that entrepreneurs needed, I was basically providing it within the realm of what I could provide. So I would do these seminars, and once they're recorded, they don't need to be thrown away. So you need to put them somewhere, which is what I did. So I have a platform where all of these videos sit. So for me to move and transition, there were some things that were in place that were able to basically hold me up while I was in transition. So I just want to say, for some, yes, jump and just move and just go and just, accept the changes and just do it. But we also want to be very smart about what we're doing. We want to at least have some sort of a plan in the mix. And there are times when you just literally, you do just jump, but you want to jump with, you just need to make sense out of everything. So for me, there were some things that were in place. I also knew, and this is one thing that I have to share with everyone, technology is constantly growing and evolving, and it is not going away. So whether we're talking about apps that we have, whether we're talking about websites that are present for us to do certain things, whether we're talking about your Facebook or your Instagram or your Snapchat or your Twitter or any of those social media platforms, they're not going away. They're just going to constantly evolve. So one of the things that was also able to sustain me was the fact that I could put on a webinar or an online conference just like that. So I created this other platform called Women's Conference Online, where I allow entrepreneurs to come together to do a presentation. So it would be at least 3 to 4 presenters. They all put together the conference. So it gave everyone an opportunity to be able to make money, gain exposure, and also to share each other's audiences. So if you and I were speaking, as well as 2 other people, no matter what their business was about, all of our audiences would be on the same platform watching the conference for the 4 to 6 hours that it was set to be visible. And everyone got to win. So that was another method of being able to have income, be supportive to my community, all of the above. Yeah, so just wanted to share that.
That's good. That's good you share that. And at the same time, I was thinking about, there are people who actually believe in that theory of jump. And I shouldn't call it theory, because we know some of these people who have done just that. They have jumped, and the jump was magnificent for them in terms of success, in terms of where that jump took them, for instance. But I want to stop and see if there are any questions anyone have from our audience. I don't know if you can see on your side, Tomeka, if there are anybody who has a comment or a question. I don't want to ignore. A lot of times, speaking of technology, I forget that I can look and see who's joining us, or look and see. Sometimes I don't see it until afterwards, but I like to acknowledge that folks are there, and if I overlook you, it's just because I guess sometimes chewing gum and walking at the same time becomes a tad challenging for me.
Yeah,
But
and I'm not seeing anything right now.
okay, so okay, I see a question. How did you go about selecting one thing? That's for you, Tomeka.
Ooh, can I tell you I'm not a one thing girl? I've tried it. It's really tough. But I will say this: you do have to have one thing that leads. One thing that is in front of everything else that people get to see, and then the other things kind of fall underneath, and they're kind of like breakout pieces. So, for instance, my one thing right now is group coaching.
Okay, that's what she says. Yeah.
Yes. So coaching is the strongest because it's the strongest emotion that I have, wanting to help. So because of the fact that I want to help, I'm clear on who I want to help. I have my avatar together, which is I'm helping entrepreneurs. What am I helping them with? Planning, strategizing, and organizing. So I had to figure out what it was that I wanted to do, what was the strongest thing, who am I helping, why am I doing it, and then I had to figure out how. So because of the one thing, what falls underneath is group coaching. So I do one-on-one. So I help individuals to accelerate their progress. Like we're going to be able to move a lot faster because it's one-on-one. There's no interruption. But then underneath my one thing of coaching individuals comes group coaching. So group coaching means that I have online platforms, I have membership where groups of people are in there. And I'm assisting all of them at the same time with the same kind of things that they all need. So
okay, so I've heard people say that group coaching is better / preferred because of the time commitment, one that the one-on-one take versus the group. Okay, so you're able to assist the masses, so to speak, in the group, but the individualized attention is not given. That's just, I guess, people's preferences, one over the other. But I want to go a little further. I want to ask you this: for those people who, and I'll say, resist change, what advice would you give them? What guidance, coaching would you offer them to get past that? Because obviously that's stagnant. That's not moving forward. So, but it could be challenging for an individual to accept, something totally different in their life. So what one or two things would you offer that individual to get past that stumbling block, if you will?
I definitely would have to say, that the world is constantly changing. I mean, if we take a look at
changing my light.
Oh, and the muting too. Mute it. Okay. So,
and I'm gonna block the sun. Go ahead.
All right. I'm still echoing. All right. So when it comes down to change, as I said earlier, is inevitable. And I would just implore that one would actually take a long look at COVID. Take a long look at what just happened. We did not expect it. We did not understand it. We did not like it. But I will tell you, some of us have had some major changes that have just put so many people in a better position than they were in. I mean, who would have known that there was going to be money everywhere? Who would have known that there would be new jobs created? Who would have known that we now need to wear masks? So there were people who were in their homes and they were constantly changing on the spot. They had one particular job or a career, and now they're in there with their sewing machine. They're purchasing materials to be able to create masks. So some people were able to make money from the pandemic, which was something we did not like. We didn't know it was coming. We didn't understand it. But it created a new space for a lot of people. So I want, if anyone can't understand what change is about, it is that thing that you just don't understand. But in most cases, it needs to happen. And I think that people also need to hear that change is not necessarily a negative thing. I think most people, their brains go to the negative side. So there's this pessimism that starts to happen. And I want everyone to just sit on the side of optimism and understand that it's not always bad. What you thought was going to be bad is it possibly isn't. Now, here's something in my book. I wrote a book called You Got Way More in You. Where is it? I have one area where I ask everyone to write down their failures. And I want them to write the failures because I want them to understand that everything that has happened to you has happened for a reason. And it has created some sort of a change or a shift in your life. So if you went to go get that job and you did not get it, you either had to make a change in yourself and go back and study more. So that was a change that you didn't know you needed to make, but you need to study some more. If you go for, like I say, even whatever position, you don't get it. There's something that's happening that something that's going on that you need to recognize, that you need to create a shift with. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that. That's the easiest way that I can do that.
Okay, so what you mentioned initially, the pandemic, who knew we were going to have to wear a mask? Who knew there was going to be this isolation imposed upon us? Who knew that our children under the age of 15 were going to be forced into online learning? But most of all, who knew that quiet time born and sparked the creativity to do something the month before hadn't even crossed our minds? Okay, they're better off for it. They're happier for it. It's been a self-realization and a self-recognition of what they had in them, as you say. You have it in here. You just sometimes need some help to bring it out. I don't mean to suggest that it takes a calamity for us to realize we can change, but then again, we need help changing. Different things happen in our lives and it causes us to change. So I'm like you. Go keep your mind open, be positive. That's one of the things I learned as an executive in the C-suite. I learned that just being open, not being intimidated or afraid of what you don't know, but be willing to learn it, be willing to ask questions. And that is why I'm in this position of supporting, teaching, guiding executive assistants in the C-suite. I'm really, really passionate about that because a lot of times we're only seen in one aspect, but we really have a lot more going on, including co-piloting that plane, ship, whatever, with that CEO. And I'd like to put that message out there more and help executive assistants reach that particular status. That's what I do and why I do it. It gives me great pleasure. It really does.
I see it all over your face.
Yeah, it does, because it's just, okay, personally, it's a powerful position, but while in it, I'll speak for myself, it's not that you feel the power. For me, it was simply doing the job that needed to be done to the best of my ability to support the mission, to make us shine, to bring all that we wanted to support the mission. And it's no power trip or anything, but so many years later, upon reflection, I see what it took to get there. And a lot of it was the soft skills as opposed to the hard skills.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on, you mentioned something about, I forgot what you said, but you were leading into learning basically. So research is what I want to talk about. When change is in front of you, you see that something is happening, you don't really understand it. The way around it is to go and get information about that thing. So research, calling a friend. Hey, what do you know about this? Calling a very informed friend, rather, okay? Not just someone who doesn't have information. It could be in the form of going online and typing in some words so that you can be led to the information. So when change is in front of you and you're not really sure how to handle it because you're feeling fear, that's really what happens. Okay, change is right there. Then you feel the fear and then you kind of get stifled. Then you're not really sure what to do next because you don't really have the answers. So the only way to overcome any of this is to get the answers. So once you find out what you need to know, who you need to be in communication with, what you need to do, how you need to do it, by when, you'll be ready to move once you get that information. So I just implore everyone to research. And it makes me think about, like, I'm just going to veer off real quick because people are always trying to figure out, when it comes to social media, how do you pick a hashtag that you're going to post on the in the comments area when you posted something. And I wanted to touch on that because we're all looking for information because we're looking to make a change, right? So we want to find the people that can assist us, but how do we find them? So we're going to type in a keyword that allows us to run into the person who knows that that word is what people are looking for in them. So if you're trying to figure out what hashtags you use, I want you to reverse engineer the whole thing and say, if I were looking for me, or if I were looking for this information, what would I put in? And those are the hashtags. I'm sorry, I went all the way left, but it felt like it was something important that someone needed to hear.
I can understand that and certainly agree to it. You brought me to a hashtag that's something, one in particular. I use several, but there's one I always use, and it's hashtag it's necessary. And I got that hashtag. I stumbled across a recording by Fantasia on YouTube. And it started, she was on the road, and she was tired. She had her backup singers there, her piano player, and she's just talking about missing the family and all. And the piano player just started playing some chords, and the bottom line is the name of the song was It's Necessary, and it was a whole lot of meaningful words in that song: making mistakes, being forgiven, God's help, and going through these things, because you said something earlier, what's for you is for you. And sometimes you don't understand what you're going through or why you're going through it. And when she sang that song, and It's Necessary, it just stuck with me. And that's been my hashtag ever since. Thank you, Fantasia, because that's the origin of that. And the thing about it is, when I use it, I find it so necessary. I find it so fitting. I find that it's so true. And so, hashtag It's Necessary. You see that it belongs to me? I just borrowed it from Fantasia.
Yeah. So
I want you to leave the folks tonight, as our dear friend and mentor coach David Shands always says on his podcast, leave the people with some words of wisdom, value, something they can take with them and hopefully move them on to the next level.
Let's see. What shall I say? All right. Life happens for you and not to you. So take a look at everything that's going on currently. Feel your body, know your body, know exactly how you feel when things happen. Absorb and understand what's going on with you. Know when to react. Know when to be quiet. Know when to start to think about when to make a move. Know when it's the time that you should not sit still. Research, plan, take action. Those are the things that I would like to leave with the audience. Research, plan, take action. If you do any of those three, and there's a piece, if you don't do all three and there's something missing, you're not able to get to the next level. And I want everyone to know that you may not know exactly where you will be or where you're going to be planted, but you have to get moving right now, because you just might be somewhere and you're just being prepared for the next thing. So I take a long look at how I was a licensed cosmetologist and I was really good at what I did. There are some people really upset right now. But over the years, I was consistently being prepared for the person, the coach that I am today, consistently being prepared, being able to have all sorts of people from all walks of life, people who made all sorts of salaries. I was able to help all of them on all levels. So when I'm asked the question, can I help a CEO? Can I help the everyday 20-year-old who's trying to figure themselves out? Can I help someone that's 30 or even 50 or 60 or even 70 and still trying to figure some things out? Absolutely, because I've already done it. So you're able to have some things proven to you even when you're not paying attention. So pay attention, feel it, live it, and move on. That's all I have to add.
That is excellent. And I just like to add, for yourself, you're doing this not because of what A thinks or what B thinks or what C, D, and F might say. It's for you. And you follow, act, plan, research for you. And the results will astound you. This is what we know for a fact. Coach Tomeka, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I appreciate you. You've granted great value to all who are in earshot, and for those who will come after and check out the repost, just be sure to say that you're listening to the, it's not the repost, what's the word I'm thinking of, but you're listening, thank you. You're listening to the replay. I really, really appreciate you. Karren's Carrots always looks forward to bringing you the carrots, okay? The golden nuggets that you apply to your life and you succeed beyond all measure. I thank you for being here again. Karren's Carrots will return next Thursday at 7. And of course, if there's anyone out there who wishes to get in touch with EAs in the C-Suite, of course you can email me. You can also visit my website at easinthecsuite.com. You'll see the various services and courses we offer. And we're also going to put, Tomeka, we'll put your book and your website in the chat, so that, you know what, my accountability partner is there. Could you give us the name of your book again, and she'll type it in?
You got way more in you. Where is it?
I have way more in me. Where is it? Is that? Oh, that's the name of the book. Oh, I like that. Okay. You got
way more in you. Where is it?
Okay. Judith, can you put that in the chat for us? And if not, I'll put it in afterwards. And where can they get that?
They can get it on my website. You can also get it on Amazon, wherever you choose.
Okay, we'll make sure that that's there for anyone who is interested in getting in touch with you and reading your book. I once again thank you. Let's see, this is okay, it's there. You put it there. You got way more in you. Thanks, Tomeka. Thank you. And your website is there as well. Fantastic. See, that's Miss Technology too. She knows. Okay. So once again, I want to thank everyone who joined us this evening, and thank everyone for their input, their time. We know you could have been anywhere else, but you decided to be here. And Tomeka, we thank you so much, and you know we will continue to connect and be in touch. And this is so long for Karren's Carrots tonight, and we'll see you next week at 7. Okay?
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.